Hello, and welcome to another Dune lore video. In anticipation of the new film adaptation of Frank Herbert's epic sci-fi novel coming out this December, I've been exploring the deep and complex characters that help make this story so captivating. I'll be looking into who they are, and what we can expect to see from them as the story of Dune unfolds. So far, we've examined Duncan Idaho and Gurney Halleck. I encourage you to check those videos out as well if you haven't seen them yet. In this video, I'll be doing a deep dive into another one of Paul Atreides' teachers, Thufir Hawat, Mentat assassin. Paul, the young ducal heir of House Atreides and the main character of the story, has a very unusual upbringing. Because of the dangers associated with his position, he doesn't have friends his age, or a traditional school environment for that matter. No, instead he is mentored by some of the best and brightest of the universe. It is interesting how each mentor of Paul's differs from the others and adds an essential facet to his education. The three main companion teachers to Paul are Duncan Idaho, the renowned swordmaster responsible for teaching him the ways of combat. Then there's Gurney Halleck, who is a formidable warrior, skilled in the use of various weapons and fighting techniques. He is also a fountain of wisdom and a trusted friend and confidant to Paul. And then there's Thufir Hawat, Mentat assassin, who tutors Paul in political and military strategies, as well as the ways of espionage to help him stay alert to any possible assassination attempts. So if you haven't read Dune, you may be wondering, what is a Mentat? Well, Mentats are very fascinating in the universe of Dune. Frank Herbert, when crafting this story, purposefully limited technology in an effort to focus on humanity and the institutions themselves that shape society and how they could change through the ages. He didn't want the technology of the future to take away from that. So where we are in the story of Frank Herbert's first novel of Dune, living machines, or artificial intelligence, have been banned for thousands of years. At first, the ban was just for machines made in the likeness of a human mind, like androids or robots. However, at the point in time that the story of Dune takes place, any and all machine computing technology is strictly prohibited. Even a simple calculator would be outlawed. The conflict that led to this technological prohibition was a turning point for humankind. Society has continued to develop, though without the use of technology, humans and their institutions turned to intensive conditioning, specialized training, and the use of certain substances like the spice found on Dune to greatly enhance the natural abilities of humans. So at this point in the timeline, Mentats have been conditioned to fill the void for any and all computing needs.
Sector 680, copy the 6th, the sum of the 8th, the quadrant of the 9th, plus 84 circles, weave the 8 and call the 4th, copy.
Thus, they are an exceedingly valuable resource. Mentats are capable of retaining vast amounts of information, processing the data to present precise analytics to the great benefit of those they serve. They can also enhance their abilities even further by drinking a substance known as sappho juice, which causes a dark stain on the lips. Training for this type of occupation must begin from infancy, and the training regimen isn't something they are actually aware of until they reach a certain age. When they do become aware of their Mentat capabilities, they then have the choice whether or not to continue developing their skills. There is a twisted side to certain Mentats, however. Literally, there are what's known as twisted Mentats who are trained in the ways of logic and reason, though specifically conditioned to ignore conscience or ethics. In Dune, there is one such sociopathic Mentat, Piter de Vries, who serves the evil House Harkonnen, the mortal enemy of House Atreides. His character will be portrayed by David Dastmalchian. He's a versatile actor, and has played the sociopath before. I'm sure he can fill this role quite effectively. Thufir Hawat, though, is one of the finest Mentats in the universe, feared by the Emperor himself. Quite a distinction, which makes sense as he's essentially a human supercomputer who's also trained in the art of espionage and political and military stratagem. The Thufir's strongest quality that stands out to me is his loyalty. He has served House Atreides as head of security for over 3 generations. By now in this story, he's a grizzled old veteran, and it is clearly a point of pride for him in keeping the Duke and his family safe, no matter the cost to himself. He protects the family in his own way, not so much with combat, but by information gathering, perceiving any potential threats, and taking the steps to neutralize them before they would have a chance to come to fruition. Thufir is obviously very good at what he does for House Atreides, contributing to why he's garnered such a reputation. However, he is still human, and thus is not infallible. I enjoy Thufir's part in this story very much. His lessons with Paul are very insightful, and serve to help the reader, or the audience, come to an understanding of how the universe of Dune works. As he teaches Paul in the ways of this feudal society, and about the planet of Arrakis, he is also teaching us. His part in the story presented on the big screen will have to be treated very carefully as well. There is a lot of internal dialogue from him in the book. His mind is busy, especially so when it is revealed shortly after the family's arrival on Arrakis that there is a traitor in their midst. There are a lot of things he has to keep to himself. As a Mentat, Thufir's specialty is in acquiring data and determining the best course of action based on that data. However, throughout the story of Dune, we will see him have to contend with false information, which can prove fatal in his line of work. A Mentat can gather vast amounts of information, but that doesn't always equate to finding the truth of matters, especially in this universe so filled with secret agendas and relentless treachery. Thufir's abilities will be challenged as never before. As the story of Dune progresses, he will have to use every bit of his training to help the Atreides and to undermine their enemies. Again, most admirably, everything that Thufir does is governed by his unswerving loyalty to the Atreides. It really is a tribute to this noble house, and how they're able to attract the loyal service of such fine assets such as Thufir Hawat, Gurney Halleck, and Duncan Idaho. I look forward to seeing these admirable and intricate characters on the big screen once more. Thufir Hawat's character has been portrayed previously by Freddie Jones in David Lynch's 1984 film, and by Jan Vlasic in 2000 in the Sci-Fi Channel's miniseries. In Denis Villeneuve's newest adaptation, he will be portrayed by Mckinley Henderson, who definitely has the appearance of a grizzled veteran with wise and alert eyes. I have no doubt he can perform this part. Whether or not his performance will do the character justice will depend mostly on how the actors are directed, and the choices they've made in adapting the novel to the screenplay. The book has been adapted with the intention of having 2 films tell this story, so that will certainly help in giving the audience time to get to know these characters. Whether that will be enough remains to be seen. I, like many others, wonder if this story and these incredibly complex characters can even be portrayed in a way that honors the source material that they are based on. In a universe as rich as Dune, it will definitely be a challenge to give attention to each person's story as these epic events unfold. For many, this could be their first introduction to the world of Dune, as well as the people and institutions that shape it. And no doubt Denis also wants to convey the story in a way that appeals to general audiences. But will that mean that devoted Dune fans will be disappointed? I do think the key to appealing to both the most devoted Dune fan and the casual viewer is to tell this rich story in a way that honors the source material and that resonates with all audiences. A challenge, to be sure, in any attempt at adapting a beloved book to the big screen. But if Denis can pull it off, the rewards will be great, along with the bragging rights that he has filmed what's been deemed the unfilmable. We'll see what happens this December. Be sure to leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, or if you're excited for Dune of 2020. Also, make sure to subscribe for more sci-fi and fantasy content. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. What's your favorite character from Dune, and what are you hoping to see from them in this new film adaptation? Thanks so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.